In this video, I'll uncover the real cause of why people get skin tags. The growth of skin tags is a problem that millions of people face today. It's more common than ever before, and it continues to be on the rise. A lot of people don't understand why they're getting skin tags. Why is it happening to me, many people think. So that's why in this video, we're gonna break down the real cause of skin tags, how to remove them naturally, and of course, how to avoid them. So stick around to the end. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Zyrowski, and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and join our notification community, and I'm gonna be able to help you excel your health and your life. Let's go ahead and talk about these skin tags that are very frustrating to a lot of people. Now, the reason this topic is coming up is because I recently had a patient who came in and started asking me about their skin tags. And I knew that they were already being managed by another doctor. So I said, well, make sure that you're just following your doctor's advice on how to avoid them, and you're gonna be just fine. They said, well, my doctor told me that there's nothing you can do. He just has to keep removing them. And I thought to myself, well, hold up here. No, there's a lot you can do. And that isn't the answer to keep going and getting them cut off. The answer is to actually make the changes so that you don't get them anymore. So that's what I'm going to help you do in this video, but I'll also teach you how you can get them removed naturally so you don't have to go in and get them cut off. So let's go ahead and talk about the skin tags and some common names they fall under, because some people go, well, I don't have skin tags. My doctor said I have acrocordons. And it's like, okay, well, these are AKAs. So it's important to understand the AKAs so that you can follow along with this topic if this is something you have an issue with. So the most common name is skin tag. This is what most people are familiar with, but they also fall under different names such as fibroepithelial polyp, acrocordons, cutaneous papillomas, and also soft fibromas. Okay, so if a doctor tells you that this is something you have, it's typically AKA skin tag. So be aware of that. Now, common associations as to why a lot of people are getting these, okay, because it's really interesting when you dig into the science, because a lot of people will tell you that, well, that it can be, all these different reasons, and there's no specific reason as to why people are getting these, but the truth is first of all, there's very strong associations, and then I'll break down the exact reasons as to why these are happening. So it's strongly associated with middle-aged adults, obesity. So if somebody who is obese, you know what that's about. Someone who's overweight, if you have 10, 15 pounds extra weight associated with that. Acanthosis nigricans is when somebody has like black patches around their neck, they have it in their armpits. This is also a person who typically has insulin resistance, who is obese. I mean, this is somebody who is going to get skin tags at some point if you have this stuff going on. It's strongly associated with people who have high cholesterol and also high blood sugar, okay? So these are the strong associations that they find time and time again. If somebody comes in with skin tags, they typically have these other issues. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the common locations that people are getting skin tags. Now, when you look at common locations, many people see them on other individuals' necks, okay? Or maybe you've even had a couple show up in your own neck, or different areas where your skin rubs together. So eyelids is one major area that people get them. Upper chest is one as well. Beneath the breast, typically in females. Neck, groin area, and also in the buttocks area. So these are all areas that many people are getting skin tags, and this is typically where you have a problem. You don't typically have one that just shows up in the middle of your leg or something like that. That would be very rare. And so these are the common locations. Now, common reasons, okay? We talked about strong associations. Let's talk about the exact scientific breakdown as to why these are happening. Now, there is a science saying that basically it can be a genetic problem, okay? But here's the thing, is I have yet to see skin tags on somebody who is a healthy, vibrant individual who's eating a good whole food diet, who's exercising, taking care of themselves. It just hardly ever happens. So for me, the genetics will be very, very low on the list, because it's something that has never showed up for me. And so genetics is low on the list, even though science does point to genetics can be a reason as to why it's happening. Pregnancy is another reason. I have seen this before, where basically someone who's pregnant, they go have a few skin tags show up out of the blue. It's more of a rare situation, but it can happen as well. Pregnancy is one, and then insulin resistance. And this is where like every one of them shows up, okay? If you're someone who has insulin resistance, this is a strong, strong reason that you're going to have skin tags. There was actually a study in 2010. What they did is they took 201 people and they evaluated them. At the end of the study, what their conclusion was is that there was a strong correlation with skin tags insulin resistance and obesity, okay? So we saw all the associations, we see what some of the research is leading to, and then of course there's genetics and pregnancy, which I believe are the more rare of the cases, okay? So for the most part, insulin resistance is a major issue for people who are trying to avoid getting skin tags, okay? Insulin resistance, skin tags, obesity, skin tags, being overweight, you get it. Metabolic syndrome as well. Now let's go ahead and talk about how to remove them, okay? Because like I said, there was this individual who came and talked to me about it, and they just kept going to the doctor. He kept chopping them off, but there's a few other things that you can do that work very effectively, and I also shared this information with the person. So tea tree oil. So you can take some tea tree oil. I like tea tree oil because it's an antiviral, it's an antifungal. It's really, really great. You can take this tea tree oil, put it on the skin tag, and you're going to have to use these natural methods. It's not going to just be a situation where you put it on the skin tag and then the skin tag just disappears overnight. This is going to be a couple-week process. And so understand that and don't get frustrated with it, but it's the natural way to go about this. And so tea tree oil, you basically dab some tea tree oil on it. You can throw a Band-Aid over it if you choose. So dab that on there and then just let it dry. It'll help dry the skin tag out, and then it'll either fall off or just start to go away depending on the nature of that particular one. Apple cider vinegar is also another thing that you can do. You would use it in pretty much the same way that you would use the tea tree oil. You're just going to dab some apple cider vinegar on it, leave it on there. Once again, if you want to throw a Band-Aid over it, you can, but for the most part, you can just let the air get to it and let it do what it needs to do. Vitamin E oil, I typically like to actually use tea tree oil, where I have somebody use tea tree oil, put that on it, and then also follow it up with vitamin E oil after it starts to dry up and it looks like it's going to either go away or fall off. Use vitamin E oil, follow that up because it's very good and healthy for the skin. Anybody who has some skin issues, vitamin E oil is also very healthy for most things. Now, the next thing on our list here, this is really how you're going to remove them naturally, but this is a big one too, and that's fixing your diet, because there's so many people that they go and start following a healthy diet, and guess what? Skin tags just disappear. Skin tags fall off, okay? So if you're someone who has a bunch of them, you want to get rid of them, you can use these natural methods here, but also this one is going to be critical for not only making them go away, but also for making sure that you don't get them in your future. Let's dive into this a little bit right here, because remember, insulin resistance is how it happens. So we have to reverse insulin resistance. Makes sense, right? So lifestyle must, okay? We got to go sugar-free. This is something you have to do. You got to go sugar-free. Now, the next thing you need to do is go low carb. Now, typically, if somebody has insulin resistance, following a ketogenic diet is going to be a great thing to do, okay? Get a ketogenic diet plan. Get that all listed out for you, and make sure that you're removing the sugar, because you can't reverse insulin resistance and continue to use sugar. You have to cut all sugar out, all forms of sugar, even natural sugar, until you are better. If you're someone who's like, well, I heard honey is natural sugar. I heard that maple syrup is natural sugar, so I can use that, right? No, if you have insulin resistance, you got to cut out all sugar at this time. So make sure you go sugar-free, complete sugar-free. Low carb diet, the ketogenic diet is a great way to go about this. Insulin resistance nutrients, okay? Just like we're talking about that you can go in and naturally stop these skin tags and naturally reverse the problem that you're facing instead of going in and getting them cut off every couple weeks. What you can also do is naturally reverse insulin resistance using some different nutritional formulas, nutritional compounds. As a matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll put a link right up here to a very powerful video that I did that talks about some powerful insulin resistance nutrients that you can take that really help bring down your blood sugar. So using different nutrients that help bring down your blood sugar is going to be powerful. And the next thing you can do is use intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is almost a must when you have insulin resistance, because when you are fasting for like 16 hours, eating all your meals within an 8-hour window, it forces that blood sugar down. It forces insulin levels down, and it also helps you to lose a lot of weight. And so if you're not familiar with intermittent fasting, and let's say all these different topics that I'm talking about right here, I will put links in the description below to them, because I mean, you coming to this video, understanding the real cause of skin tags is just the start of this conversation. This is how you're going to finish this conversation and truly master it, is by jumping into some of these other topics right here. Like I said, I'll put links to all the videos I've done in the description. So intermittent fasting is great. And then insulin resistance exercise. Now there's a specific form of training called HIIT training that is really great for people who have high blood sugar issues. It's where you basically go and take your exercise, put it into like a 15-20 minute period, do it at a high intensity, and it is incredible for bringing down that blood sugar and also making your body more hormone sensitive, specifically insulin. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. What I'll do is I'll put a link to that video right here. Check that out. And this way you can stop skin tags right here. You can be creative in the way that you go about making these little high intensity workouts and routines up. And so you can really choose whatever exercises you want.